this lesson is about The Thrill Is Gone, or just soloing over a blues or really any song that you're improvising over using arpeggios. So for this tune by B.B. King, the chords are B minor 7, then it goes to an E minor 7, back to a B minor 7, to a G major 7, F sharp 7, back to a B minor 7. So, if you don't know what arpeggios are or what they're useful for, I'm going to break that down for you. So, arpeggios are basically just outlining the notes of a chord. So, B minor 7. For any minor 7 chord, you have the root, which is the B, the minor third, the fifth, and then the seventh. And so the arpeggio, all it does, it just outlines those notes. So you have the root on the 6th string, the minor third on the 6th string as well. I'm playing that with my first finger, then pinky. Then you have your fifth, and I use my ring finger for that on the 5th string. Then you have your flat 7, and then your root again. That's the first octave. For the next octave, you have the root here, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 1. So as you're soloing over that portion of the tune where it's just a B minor 7, using all of those notes. What you might have noticed is that you're only missing one note in order to play a pentatonic scale, and that's the 4th. So the pentatonic scale and a B minor 7 arpeggio are super similar. You just remove the 4th from a B minor pentatonic scale to get that arpeggio, just those notes there, the root, flat 3, 5th, and the flat 7. Now the next chord, E minor 7, same thing, just starting on the 5th string. So you have the root, flat 3, 5th, flat 7, then the 1. And if you want to go up the octave, you have your flat 3 with your middle finger on the 2nd string, to the 5th, flat 7, and then the 1, or the octave, is all the way up here. So if you want to outline that chord while you're soloing, you have the B minor 7. Whoops. Back to that B minor 7. Now the next chord is a G major 7, and it's going to be a little more different, just a slightly different than the E minor 7, where the way we build it is we have a root 1, a major third instead of a minor third, 5th, and then a major 7. So the way we would play that is with the root on the 5th string, middle finger, to the major third with our first finger on the 4th string, to the 5th with our pinky, the major 7 with our third, to the root with our pinky. Whoops. Then the third is right below the root on the 2nd string, 5th on the 1st string, major 7 on the 1st string as well. And there's the root. So again, slowly. So you have all those notes as options when you're soloing. So again, minor 7, you could just use the pentatonic scale or think of using the arpeggio. E minor 7 arpeggio. Back to B minor. Then you get to the major 7. Oops, excuse me. Then you get to an F sharp 7 arpeggio. So that is just the root, the third, the fifth, and then the flat 7s of a major 7. So we have the root, just like our major, kind of how we start off with our root with our middle finger. First finger on the 4th string, pinky. Now instead of a major, we do a minor or a flat 7. So it's going to be middle finger, pinky. So really just make one adjustment compared to the major 7. And then you're back to 1. And the way that I like to use these arpeggios is kind of sprinkle them in throughout the song so that the listener and also any other person that you're playing with can hear those changes of each chord. So I kind of think of the B minor pentatonic scale as like a life preserver. So you could use it while you're soloing throughout the whole tune because you're in the key of B minor. So that B minor pentatonic will work over any of those chords, still sound great. But if you want to venture out and add some more color to your soloing, use these arpeggios to navigate the tune. So kind of like what I was doing at the beginning of the video here. I started off with my B minor pentatonic. Then I emphasize that note there within the E minor pentatonic, or the E minor arpeggio, which is the root. Back to B minor. And then wanting to outline this major chord because I think it's a pretty different type of sound compared to the other minor chords, so I think it might be good for you to outline that chord in your solo. And then going to the F sharp dominant chord. Back to B minor 7. So it's very useful to apply these arpeggios as you're soloing because you could really hear the chord changes even though you're not playing the chords, you're just playing the notes, as I was able to demonstrate just earlier there. So if you find this information helpful, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading more videos and content like this. Really, I think this is kind of like an intermediate lesson for folks. I teach this to the students that I have just because I think that this song is a really great song to pick up on. The whole tune is just the same chord progression over and over, and you really get some usefulness out of learning arpeggios from the 6th string, root on the 6th string, root on the 5th string. Also, you're learning your minor arpeggios, dominant 7 arpeggios, and your major 7 arpeggios all in one song. And you could really get off and running there pretty easily just by learning those 3 arpeggios, and they all fall within the fretboard here in this one position, which I feel like is pretty accessible to folks that are just learning to do this. So if you enjoyed this lesson, please like this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.